idea what you're doing!
Nah, I'm gonna do my own thing.
So can we just talk about how versatile that clip is? Anyway, that's exactly how I felt when I was in art college and had a very similar experience to this person. So before we get started, just an introduction. My name is Vex, full name pronounced Vexstacy, not Vex plus Stacy, and I've been drawing for over 10 years, and I've been in the furry fandom for over 10 years. I've got some other videos you can check out about my experience in the fandom and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I'm really just going to jump straight in because this one hits kind of close to home, brought back some memories. So first of all, again, this is the tweet that sparked it all, that jumped it all off. And let me first start by saying here's some of the work that I did when I was in art college. And a few of these, and a couple of those. And yeah, unfortunately, one of the main drawings that I'm going to be talking about during this, I do not have a picture of, but I'm definitely going to make it work. Now, to keep things on topic, I'm not going to talk about my full, feelings about going to art school and going to art college. That would have to be a completely separate video, but let me give you the very too long didn't read. My experience sucked. It was really expensive. All I got was debt and a couple of dope ass friends, but listen, to the dope ass friends watching this video, I don't know if you're worth the debt. I am mostly kidding. But nah, the friends that I went to college with would definitely get why, I say what I say. It's hard owing that much money, so, and then get so little for it. And if I could do it all over again, I wouldn't go. Like, if I could go in a time machine and decide whether or not I really, in fact, if I knew then what I knew now, then I wouldn't go. Anytime I have this conversation when I'm streaming or something, there's always at least a couple people that want to defend it, and that's your business, but don't do it on this. Don't do it on this video, because like I said, that's a whole separate video, whole separate situation. I'm not even gonna read your comment. I'm gonna look at it and go about my day. So anyway, while I was going, there was a specific art class, and this was like painting 101 or something like that. And the teacher, we had an assignment, and it was an exam. Like, this couldn't have hit more close to home. It was like one of our exams. I think we had 3 exams throughout that entire class. Anyway, we had been like turning in homework up until that point, and the only real thing that was required was to put together everything we had learned thus far. Prior to this class, before you can even get into this class, you do have to, or at least the one I went to, you did have to pass like a still life class, a figure drawing class, a color theory class, and a composition class. So I had already passed those, and therefore they do expect you to incorporate some of that stuff as well on top of what you are learning about the techniques for painting and things like that. Now, throughout my entire time of attending college, I had known that I loved furries. I've loved furries since I was in, I don't know, 7th, 8th grade or whatever. So yeah, obviously I went into school to draw, and was looking forward to being able to apply what I was learning towards drawing furries. So yes, I wanted to be able to draw furries in certain scenarios. This was one of those scenarios. So I asked, I'm like, can I draw some furries? And they were like, yeah, nah. And I was like, interesting. So then I just did it anyway. And essentially what I ended up doing was drawing Anubis, because how you about to argue with the most historically acknowledged furry in existence. You're not. Like, it's wild to me how people will have this idea that furries haven't been around for since the dawn of the gods. Like Anubis, Ra, Bastet, I Horus, Sobek. Like I can't listen them all off the top of my head. It's been a hot minute since I played Smite, but and we're gonna touch on that again later. But yeah, there's definitely more than one depiction of furries throughout history, and I don't understand the visceral reaction towards people being drawn to them and people wanting to draw them. So after that point, I just didn't say anything. Better to ask forgiveness than permission, I guess. So I started sketching up and, doing a little painting. And that was when we had to do like our check-in, like our progress check-in, I think like a week or so later. And I revealed what I had been working on, and the teacher was like, okay. And I was like, yep. So what we gonna do about this? And there was some back and forth, and then it was just like, all right, man, look, fine, just go ahead and finish it. As long as you can complete requirements, then it is what it is. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. So there really was nothing stopping me from being able to, in fact, incorporate perspective, figure drawing, color theory, painting techniques such as overlaying on top of gray. None of that was like, why would the subject matter of a furry stop me from being able to practice or show my ability to have grasped any of that? Why? Exactly. So I did start working on that drawing a little bit more, but what in actuality began to occur was it was a lot to take on, and that ended up being more of an actual concern than anything. So in reality, what happened was I had to start all over and do an additional painting instead, just to actually be able to complete it, because the Anubis painting I had in my mind was definitely going to need more time than what I had anticipated it would. So in the end, I ended up turning in two drawings, essentially two paintings. One was the underpaint of the Anubis, and the other one was the one that fulfilled all of the requirements, including being completed within the time frame. I essentially did, like 1.5 assignments to turn in. I ended up walking away with that with a B or a B plus, and that set the tone for me moving forward, like me digging my heels in. As long as I could complete the task, that's what I was going to do. And so there were other scenarios going forward in other classes where that came up again. Like there was a project where we needed to do a storyboard based off of an Edgar Allan Poe, so I chose the Red Death. And in the Red Death, they're known for wearing those plague masks, so I was like, okay, why could the Red Death not be a big ass red crow, and the plague mask is just their face? You know what I mean? Like, so there were ways to implement this in an interesting and storytelling way and still meet the requirements. I don't understand why people just knee jerk so aggressive when somebody's like, maybe it's the word, maybe if we say, can I make it anthropomorphic? Can I draw a were creature? But these are borderline synonymous, and I don't know. The learned fundamentals of any art class can be applied to a wide variety of artists' subject matter of choice, often including furries. If that wasn't the case, then I would say that that's an unsuccessfully delivered class and an unsuccessfully delivered set of material, because the whole point is for this to be able to take you further in your artistic journey in life, for you to be able to apply it to what you actually want to do as a career or as a side job, or even still if it does just become a hobby that you're just damn good at. So for an assignment on an exam that's meant to examine what a person's learned throughout, there's no need to specify that they can only prove those skills by drawing a human, because it's majority not true outside of scenarios where you're obviously in like a human face portrait drawing class, okay, or you're in a life drawing class where the figure is a human person and you are trying to basically replicate and extrapolate those features onto a piece of paper in a readable and understandable way. Those are very specific scenarios. Or, you don't go to a flower drawing class and be like, I mean, with the exception of like maybe turning a snapdragon into an actual dragon. That'd be kind of cool. But for the most part, these assignments, at least when I went to class, and I'm assuming this person experienced quite similar, were fairly open-ended, just saying like, look, you just learned how to combine 4 different colors in a piece harmoniously. Now create a piece at the end that exemplifies your ability to do just that. And that was it. And then they would just grade you on your final project. I think what should have occurred is the assignment should have just been allowed to be completed however the student saw fit and turned in, and then judged at that point. I don't care if it was them having an anime style or a furry style. You don't know if that student is going to surprise you. You don't know if that student is going to see how they can take what they've learned and further expound upon a style that they have otherwise been fairly, deadlocked in. You don't know, and you're not giving them the opportunity to know. Being able to turn in the assignment and then maybe see a failing grade, as long as it was not given just because of the subject matter, if the teacher is grading fairly, then as long as there was no specification that it had to be a human, then I could complete the assignment with nothing but Andy Warhol together painted pictures of Pikachu, as a lot of P's, and still manage to display my ability to do so with the skills that I've garnered over the course of the classes. So what does that have to do with anything? Now, obviously, yes, if someone tries to turn in a not safe work image for their assignment, then, and I'm not talking about artistic nudity, because if you've ever taken a life drawing class, you know that there's nude models. Like, that's not what I'm talking about. And nudity is not inherently the end of the goddamn world, and I feel like the internet really needs to figure that out. But that being said, I'm talking about like a little X-rated. Like, yeah, then that's a problem. But I feel like the only people thinking about that happening are people who are not furries. They just have these preconceived notions based off of 5 YouTube videos that were cherry picked from some of the worst people in the fandoms, and then ended up getting like 1 million views. You can do that with anything. To be clear, if you want to go there, you can do that with the music industry. You can do that with churches. You could do that with businesses. Like, you're not proving anything when you do that. Like, there are more just regular ass people in these fandoms than you think, and so most of us are just out here wanting to just turn in a picture of their standing up wolf character or standing up leopard character, because It's what we find fun to draw. And if the learning process is already going to be fucking hard, then why are we not allowed to also at least enjoy what we're struggling on? Well, that was a sentence, but if you know, you know. You know, like, I hated drawing humans when I started. It was boring to me, and I would have gotten so little done if I wasn't able to at least turn some of my assignments into elves, dragons, jackals, Kierans. Like, I did one with a foo dog at one point. So I could, like, at least have something at the end of it that I actually wanted to keep regardless of the grade. I don't understand how people don't understand that. So that's it. That's all we wanted. Like, it's easier to want to continue to learn to do something when you are at least having some amount of fun somewhere doing it. It's why most of us absolutely fucking hated, loathed, and avoided the draw box shit for so long, because it's really not fun. And there is borderline no way to make it fun when you're doing it for the first few times. Now, do I still recommend us doing it? Absolutely. I did eventually do it down the road, but I can absolutely understand why a, starting out artist wouldn't want to do that. Like I said, I didn't want to do that. Was it beneficial? Yes, but anyway. The other thing is, people act like a furry character isn't 90% human. Are you like, what? You have to know how to draw arms the same, torsos the same, legs borderline the same if they're bipedal versus bipedal. Oh my god, plantigrade versus digigrade. Like, you have to know how to neck muscles, back muscles, butt muscles, like all of this stuff still applies. So I'll wait. On top of that, again, I've said this in another video, but people act like there is just no skill required or to draw a furry, and it be the same people that think they're just gonna suddenly pick up drawing furries and make hundreds of thousands of dollars out of nowhere regardless of the end result. That's not happening. It actually is twice as hard, and there's more that you need to know. Like, oh, I get it, drawing your single skin color human with a slightly intricate arm tattoo was a little hard. Oh baby, try drawing a fucking wolf with the quilted northern toilet paper pattern all over it in 6 different colors, and it probably has wings. So now you have to know how to draw a wolf, a human, wings, a quilted toilet paper pattern, fur, claws, tails. Don't worry, I'll wait. Like, it is so understated, the sheer additional amount of knowledge that you do have to learn when you are drawing furries. Now, before someone brings it up, no, I don't think drawing the same dog or the same dog-faced characters over and over again is particularly helpful. But not every furry wants to do that. I sure as the hell didn't and don't. Same face syndrome is actually one of my biggest fears. I tried desperately to avoid that shit like the plague. Do I have a very particular way that I draw eyes? Yes. But as far as, making things look the way that they look, that's something I very much wanted to learn how to do early on. It took me a little bit of time to get there, but now I'm there. I like when my birds look like birds and my dogs look like dogs and my cats look like cats. And there are furries that in fact care about that, which is a whole added level of layers to the cake, because now you're learning multiple different skull shapes, tooth shapes, etc. That shit's complicated. And I don't know, it's just wild to me that people forget that. Meanwhile, have you ever seen a Magic the Gathering card once in your life? Have you seen the splash art for what is it, Smite, have you know, like League, what is it, Warwick Warwick. And never mind all the fantasy books and stuff like that. Like, there's a lot that goes and can go into furry art, and I don't see why that would be any less acceptable than someone doing pet portraits or wanting to incorporate animal portraits or whatever into their projects or what have you. It's just this, like I said earlier, just this like weird visceral reaction that people will have to the fact that it is a hybridization, and I truly, with my heart of hearts, don't understand. I don't get it. Like, clearly there's a market for it. Clearly it can be safe for work, but also, who kind of cares if it isn't? I'm now talking outside of the school situation, but like, and I guess that's a video for another day, but acting like the vast majority of this human population on this planet isn't interested in dating and what often comes with it later down the road, wink wonk nudge nudge, it's certainly something. And before someone randomly pulls up and says this is why you can't draw humans, boom, 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 boom.